Dragon Age Inquisition was rated M for mature by the ESRB and contains blood, intense violence, nudity, sexual content, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, my name is Amaronith and I play games for the internet, and today we're playing Dragon Age Inquisition. It's time for another Codex reading. And let's get right into it with crafting materials. Arbor Blessing. Blessed by the vine in spring, I shall not fear the winter's sting. Arbor Blessing is a useful vine that is notoriously difficult to cultivate, as if it had a mind of its own. The wind often carries its minuscule seeds for great distances from the parent plant. It is hard to say what causes the seeds to sprout once they land. However, it has long been believed that comfort and abundance follow where Arbor Blessing goes. Perhaps the vine only chooses conditions that promote rich harvests from domesticated flora. Therefore, see Arbor Blessing in spring, and you shall not grow hungry in winter. An excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Ines Arancia, botanist. Felandaris. The name Felandaris is Elven, meaning demon weed, which is fitting for this rare plant because it grows only in places where the veil is thin. Felandaris is easily identified. It's a twisted, wicked-looking shrub with long, thorny shoots and no leaves, a skeletal hand reaching out from an unmarked grave. Many swear the plant radiates a palpable aura of malevolence, so it comes as no surprise that it unnerves many a junior herbalist. An excerpt from the Botanical Compendium by Ines Arancia, botanist. Creatures. Despair Demon. Once upon a time we classified these as demons of sloth, but we learned that despair demons are something quite different. They are not the antithesis of justice or valor, but rather of hope. They form nightmares, tearing away at the foundations of self and purpose. When brought into the world, they are most attracted to places the downtrodden populate, alienages, slums, prisons, and the like. The miasma they spread can lead to extreme behavior. We look for a rash of unexplained suicides, men and women so filled with grief they lash out. The most intelligent of these creatures are to be feared, for they not only feed on despair, they understand its causes, and seek to bring it about. From the shadows they ruin lives, drinking the tears of those who have no idea the cause of their misery is not random chance. From a lecture by renowned hunter Sir Hayward of the Templar Order. Researched, damage against demons increased. History. Arlathan, Part 1. Before the ages were named or numbered, our people were glorious and eternal and never-changing. Like the great oak tree, they were constant in their traditions, strong in their roots, and ever reaching for the sky. They felt no need to rush when life was endless. They worshipped their gods for months at a time. Decisions came after decades of debate, and an introduction could last for years. From time to time our ancestors would drift into centuries-long slumber, but this was not death, for we know they wandered the Fade in dreams. In those ages our people called all the land Elvenon, which in the old language means place of our people, and at the center of the world stood the great city of Arlathan, a place of knowledge and debate, where the best of the ancient elves would go to trade knowledge, greet old friends, and settle disputes that had gone on for millennia. But while our ancestors were caught up in the forever cycle of ages, drifting through life at what we today would consider an intolerable pace, the world outside the lush forests and ancient trees was changing. The humans first arrived from Farvallen to the north. Called Shemlin, or Quicklings, by the ancients, the humans were pitiful creatures whose lives blinked by in an instant. When they first met the elves, the humans were brash and warlike, quick to anger and quicker to fight, with no patience for the unhurried pace of elven diplomacy. But the humans brought worse things than war with them. Our ancestors proved susceptible to human diseases, and for the first time in history, elves died of natural causes. What's more, those elves who spent time bartering and negotiating with humans found themselves aging, tainted by the humans' brash and impatient lives. Many believed that the ancient gods had judged them unworthy of their long lives and cast them down among the quicklings. Our ancestors came to look upon the humans as parasites, which I understand is similar to the way humans see our people in the cities. The ancient elves immediately moved to close Elvenon off from the humans, for fear that this quickening effect would crumble the civilization. The fall of Arlathan, as told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralafarin clan of the Dalish elves. Arlathan, Part 2. You ask what happened to Arlathan? Sadly, we do not know. Even those of us who keep the ancient lore have no record of what truly happened. What we have are accounts of the days before the fall and a fable of the whims of the gods. The human world was changing even as the elves slept. Clans and tribes gave way to a powerful empire called Tevinter, which, and for what reason we do not know, moved to conquer Elvenon. When they breached the great city of Arlathan, our people, fearful of disease and loss of immortality, chose to flee rather than fight. With magic, demons, and even dragons at their behest, the Tevinter Imperium marched easily through Arlathan, destroying homes and galleries and amphitheaters that had stood for ages. Our people were corralled as slaves, and human contact quickened their veins until every captured elf turned mortal. The elves called to their ancient gods, but there was no answer. As to why the gods didn't answer, our people left only a legend. They say that Fen'Harel, the dread wolf and lord of tricksters, approached the ancient gods of good and evil and proposed a truce. The gods of good would remove themselves to heaven, and the lords of evil would exile themselves to the abyss, neither group ever again to enter the other's lands. But the gods did not know that Fen'Harel had planned to betray them, and by the time they realized the dread wolf's treachery, they were sealed in their respective realms, never again to interact with the mortal world. It is a fable, to be sure, but those elves who travel the beyond claim that Fen'Harel still roams the world of dreams, keeping watch over the gods lest they escape from their prisons. Whatever the case, Arlathan had fallen to the very humans our people had once considered mere pests. It is said that the Tevinter Magisters used their great destructive power to force the very ground to swallow Arlathan whole, destroying aeons of collected knowledge, culture, and art, the whole of elven lore left only to memory. The fall of Arlathan, as told by Gisharel, keeper of the Ralafarin clan of the Dalish elves. From the Canticle of Threnodies. An illuminated copy of the Chant of Light. A few of the passages have been bookmarked. In secret they worked, magic upon magic, all their power and all their vanity. They turned against the veil until at last it gave way. Above them a river of light, before them the throne of heaven, waiting, beneath their feet the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. Canticle of Threnodies 8:2-3. The Emerald Nights. Cry for the past, only there does glory dwell, for here the bow was strung, the sword bequeathed, the vows sworn, so glory was born within the hearts of elves. Sing for the past, where rests those who came before, for each night a seed was sown, roots twisting with their brothers and sisters, so the forest grew, a reflection of our might. Mourn for the past and all that was left there, for we trusted in dreams and perceived immortality. We trusted in promises and in hope, and so we dreamed in vain, for we lost these gifts long ago. Curse the past, the place where lies were born, for beneath their sun our people fall, the lands their lady once bestowed, now stolen in her name. So when these words are read, we shall be gone. Forget not the past, it is all that remains, for each night a seed was sown, roots twisting with their brothers and sisters, so the forest remains a reflection of our sorrow. Cry for the past, it shall claim us all, for here rest our saviors newly slain, others lie beyond our reach, so we remember. Let the true name burn away and enter Dinan Hanin, the place where glory ends. Andrail, who song inspired, Sorin with bow in hand, Siona, who kept the bridge, Talim, who saved the child, Rin, who led them out, Ilan, who kept watch, Elandrin, whom we betrayed. A blank space follows the names, as if more were to be carved. Letters and notes. A torn diary. A torn diary page. It's not fair. I want to go outside. I can hear the guests downstairs. Another party. There's always another party. Mother and father brought me a present to make me feel better, to make me better. They're just trying to shut me up. Cook's scared of me. She still calls me my sweets, but she's scared. Still, she hasn't told father or mother. She's afraid of me more than she likes them. I don't think Cook likes herself much either these days. I have a new friend now. She understands me. She'll help me make things fair again. A torn diary page. I showed them. We had such fun, we did, dancing and partying until everyone fell down. It was glorious. The best party ever. Father and Mother went to their room when we were done. Mother was crying, she was so happy. I held out the present. It made me better, just like they said. I have not left the house. I'm still scared of what's on the other side of the door, but maybe I'll go out tomorrow. A torn diary page. I had to make myself breakfast this morning. It wasn't very good. When I saw Mother and Father, I couldn't stop crying. I don't know what to do. My friend says there's a way to be less lonely. She says not to be afraid. There are other games we can try, and I will feel better. Blood-Splattered Notes. These appear to be the scribbled notes of a scholar named Erwin Cavey. The elements have ruined most of the writing. How many times have I sought information on the Dalish only to find that it is, once again, a tale told by Keeper Gisheril of the Ralafaran clan. We can't have one keeper from years ago be our sole source of knowledge on the Dalish. There must be other voices in the Dalish clans, other perspectives that... The elves cannot all be as hostile as most would, a dark smear obscures the writing, conclude that it is our prejudice speaking when we repeat these damaging When I return, the university will finally acknowledge my contributions to Theodosian history. Bernadad Genitivi, step aside. Remarkably difficult to locate. I'm walking in circles. But take heart, Erwin. This is all for a good cause. There must be someone in this forest who can point me to the Dalish. I'll ask the next person I come... Epitaphs for the lost. Neat, tight script preserves a final epitaph for the fallen. Frail, faltering in the darkness, though imperfect, her voice a balm. Andril, Valandin, and Asal and Ast. Naught but blood and torn flesh, but a mother knows her child. Sorin, Valandin, and Asal and Ast. Fire stirred ever an impatient heart, but she would not be moved. Siona, Valandin, and Asal and Ast. Arrows long the spine, the child cried, sheltered by his form. Talim, Valandin, and Asal and Ast. Two emerged within an eve, as one they fought, as one fell. Rin, Ilan, Valandin, and Asal and Ast. Lord Deontair's journal. The journal entry is dated 927 Dragon. That Circle Templar is demanding another payment. Greedy bastard, taking advantage of us all these years because we wanted to preserve our good family name. He promised to silence the mage once returned to his circle, but that doesn't protect us from the Templar. I wonder, though, was it enough? No, the mage was strong. Even I could sense it. It was terrifying. There is no way the child could break through. She doesn't even have training. So long as she stays inside, everything will be all right. No one will ever know. Superstitions. A book of superstitions. Several of the pages have been bookmarked. How to prevent magic formation in the earliest stages. Should mage blood run through your line, no matter how distant the relation, avoid conceiving in winter. While with child, sleep with dried embryo beneath your pillow to ensure good health. Infants and most small children will show no signs of magic. However, you can purge the body of unwanted elements before they take hold. Place leeches on each of the child's limbs. When done, burn the leeches. Be sure not to inhale the smoke. Afterwards, wrap the child's limb in cloth blessed by a chantry sister. A child showing signs of magic may be submerged in water until the breath is nearly lost. If magic is still weak within them, it will die before the child. Should the trouble persist beyond reason, certain talismans may suppress the child's skill. Tales. Bottles of Thedas. Chastened sackmead, a brutishly strong honey liqueur, reminiscent of warm summer days, apple blossoms on the wind, with an unexpected aftertaste of father going off to war, never to return. Bitter, to say the least. Garbog's Backcountry Reserve, likely dropped to avoid seizure by authorities or because of seizure due to drinking it. Garbog only brewed from 874 to 892 blessed, killed when the vapors in his beard spontaneously combusted. Golden Scythe 490 black. This battlefield spirit maintains a chill even in direct sunlight, which it appears to absorb. Optimal serving is by the drop. Contact with exposed flesh is discouraged, but likely inevitable. Sunblonde Vint 1. Tevinter brewed for a very discreet clientele, and strong enough to fluster a tranquil. An almost weightless spirit best served with a powdering of catsbane as a flavor enhancer and antidote. Dragon Piss. The name is probably figurative, but no one knows for sure. Herol's Lava Burst. It tastes like burning. Brewed exclusively in Cal Herol. McKay's Epic Single Malt. This whiskey is older than the maker and smoother than an elven baby butt. Finale by Masad. The last bottling from the legendary vintners of Ferelden before the lands were divided. Tears on the glass as slow as the turning of a reluctant air, as quick on the tongue as words that can't be unsaid. Butterbile, 784. A hard liqueur that's not so much served as it is brandished. Coarse and indifferent, it is to your taste or it is not. The failing is yours if you cannot raise or lower to the challenge of a distiller told not to. Vint 9, Rowan's Rose. Delicate to the nose, comfort to the tongue, and, strangely, a half-remembered whisper to the ears. It is described as, and inspires, a wistful spirit, a vintner's opus. Absinthe. I am aware of how to spell it. This bottling reflects my wish that the current crop of behatted self-styled cads would disappear. I prefer Lafitte Verte as spirit, not affectation. Stiller, Emeritus Gaivon. Antivan Sip Sip. Careful, this one's mean. Attic raised mean. Popular among highborn who wish to seem dangerous, but more at home grasped by the neck by those who actually are. Carnal, 869 blessed. An Orlesian liqueur for the daring, or those who wish to seem so. Said to enhance sensation, and at the bottom, an erotically carved peach pit. The design is plain, but the bottler assures that the act of carving was scandalous. Alvarado's Bathtub Boot Screech. If you can read this, you haven't drunk it. Common curses. So, lad, you're getting your sights straight in your first day as topside, so here's some advice. You're not just trading with kin. You're selling to all kinds of folk now with different customs and tongues. As I've learned here, the most important part of any language is the cussing. It gets you trust. It gets you coin. Most elves you see in the city are servants, and a human looking for a fight might call one knife-ear. If the elf returns with shem or quick, blood's about to spill. Those Dalish elves use flat ear to insult the ones who live with humans, like our unenlightened kin below call us stone-blind up here. Even the humans who pray to some woman they burned alive, and her god they call the Maker, say something when they knock their shins. It's a curse to say Andraste's, well, any body part, really. Maker's breath might get you in with a swaggering fool, but the lady priests won't be pleased. Chantry folk also don't like mages. If you hear a mage called a spellbind, hide anything flammable. Then there are all those beautiful words that just mean sod it. When that loose cobblestone flips and the ankle cracks, an elf will cry, Threnodies, while a human might, damn it! A canary will mumble, Vashdan. I've even heard a couple of Tevinters yells, "Kafar!" If any of these get aimed at you, hopefully all that gets killed is a sail. Note from Hardle, a surface merchant dwarf to an apprentice adjusting to life outside Orzammar. Of gods and doubt. Forgive me. I claimed belief once, swore with tears in my eyes that Our Lady was the light, and through her blessing I knew the Maker. But I cannot brook the division between what I have tried to know and what I cannot ignore. Is the Maker less silent than the profane elven pantheon or the old gods of Tevinter? And what of archdemons that are not silent at all? We have real, ongoing strife, all of us, every people and creed, that we each blame on the heretical actions of others. And yet, if any one of our truths was truth, that blame would be impossible. It is not just that these claims of divinity cannot coexist. It is that no other claims could be made, if any one of those worshipped were ever truly God. I am shamed my faith cannot withstand so pedestrian an argument. All I have learned in my time here is fear. Initiate Michaela Chevet. Go as you must, as we must all, but know that the only thing worse than a faith broken is a faith untested. Correspondence and Teachings of Mother Havara, Valrio Archive. The Death of Elandrin. Elandrin, our brother, Felandan guide you, Maker guide you. Let here the truth be kept, lest you be remembered a traitor, or our sorrow seem a passing woe. Though you swore to serve our people, there were those questioning your heart. Too often we have fought with humans along our borders until the beginning was lost to memory. Rumors of an abduction stirred. As always, their chantry was swift to spread lies. In haste and anger they killed Siona's sister for wandering too near the hunter's path. You carried her body back to us, you mourned with us, yet your heart was distracted. Siona begged for vengeance, and you turned away. More and more you vanished without word or explanation. When whispers rose that you would swear yourself to their Maker, we feared what would come. Siona sought to save you, to bring you back to us. She had lost a sister. Must she also lose a brother? Beneath the trees she saw you with a woman, the one who turned you from us. The woman gestured toward the village. You and she turned to gaze upon the chantry walls. Siona returned. She told us of how humans were turning you against us, how their lies must have filled you. As a loyal servant to the Maker's cause, you would betray our secrets. When we went to ask if there was truth in this, you were already gone. So we sought to stop you. With haste, Siona led her people to the village. There we would challenge you. There we would bring you back to us, or to justice. In the dim of a moonless night, she saw Siona through the trees. She raced toward Siona, a cry on her lips and something in her hand. Siona's arrow flew, so the woman fell, the name Elandrin dying on her lips, daisies slipping from her grasp. The men of the village suspected the girl's flight and heard the scream. They fell upon the elves, but were no match. Siona's haste surpassed your own. You knelt beneath the trees, blood-soaked petals clinging to your clothes from a final embrace. When more humans came, you would not be moved, and they would not listen. Their arrows found your heart, and you fell beside her. We found your body in the river where they cast you aside. She was taken by her own. It was not the end, but your part is past. Rest now as our honored brother once more, a wreath of daisies at your brow, the letter she carried in your hand. Whoever guides you, whoever guides her, may your souls meet once more in the beyond. Faded blood stains the letter. Adeline, what care have I for gods I have never seen, for a Maker I do not know? Let others distract themselves with such lofty concerns. I know only this life, I have seen only this world, and I care only for you. Perhaps your priestess distrusts the sincerity of uncivilized elves. If she must hear me say I will follow the Maker, so be it. Your God intercedes as much as ours. My life will not change. I will return in 2 weeks' time. My heart longs for you till then, and will remain with you forever after. Elandrin. The Girl in Red Crossing. Too long I have travelled, soon I'll see her smiling, the girl in red crossing I'm longing to see. Oh, I know she is there, daisies in her hair, waiting by the chantry to marry me. I've dreamed of the kiss I stole neath the arbor, I've dreamed of the promise neath the old ash tree. Oh, I know she is there, daisies in her hair, waiting by the chantry to marry me. One last stream to cross, one last hill to wander, until I reach the love I'm longing to see. Oh, I know she is there, daisies in her hair, waiting by the chantry to marry me. Running through the streets, only silence follows, elven arrows sunk into the old ash tree. Oh, I know she is there, daisies in her hair, waiting by the chantry to marry me. Ruby on the green, petals lost and drifting, take her to his side, Andraste, hear my plea. I found her lying there, daisies in her hair, waiting by the chantry to marry me. Not surprisingly, this folk song originates from the Red Crossing region, although it is known in various parts of Orlais. While clearly inspired by the events of the Exalted March of the Dales, it is unknown whether the narrator and the eponymous girl are based on actual figures or are representative of the overall losses suffered at Red Crossing. From Orlesian Musical Tradition by Sister Rosette, published by the University of Orlais. And that is that. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.